Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Charmaine Reedy, and welcome to a meeting of the minds, a chance to talk with some of history's most famous people. This year, we're celebrating the bicentennial of our Constitution, and in keeping with that, we have a chance to talk with some of its authors. Tonight, our very special guests are George Washington, statesman and truly the father of our country and our first president; Benjamin Franklin, inventor and diplomat; Thomas Jefferson, who many feel was one of the truly great minds of the ages; and John Hancock, one of the authors of the Declaration of Independence and an independent businessman. Insurance, isn't it?
Yes, that's right, madam.
Well, gentlemen, a lot has happened since the Constitutional Convention met in 1787 to adopt and eventually ratify the documents we now know as the Constitution and our Bill of Rights. Can you tell us, Mr. Washington, what was the atmosphere of the convention? I mean, were you aware of the tremendous challenges that you faced?
Well, madam, certainly we all felt the weight of history on our shoulders. We had just come out of a very debilitating war, and we'd all felt the lack of freedoms and individual rights that had come with that oppression. So I think I speak for all of us when I say that we had a very good idea that we would indeed be mapping out the course which free men would follow for generations.
Yes. None of us took our responsibilities lightly, madam, I can assure you. When we drafted the Constitution, and later our Bill of Rights, we fully intended, yes, I may even say expected, that these constitutional guideposts, may I say, would withstand the test of time, could stand firm through any assault that might be mounted by special or vested interest. Our higher purpose was to ensure that subsequent generations would be guaranteed under law those freedoms and rights we had fought so bitterly to achieve.
Yes. Mr. Jefferson, of which are you personally the proudest, the Constitution or the Bill of Rights?
Well, madam, naturally I consider both to be the two most important documents of any free society. Why, one could not exist without the other. But if I had to choose between the two, I'd say the Bill of Rights.
Why is that, sir?
Well, madam, because the Bill of Rights addresses the personal liberties that we all hold so dear. A democracy intends for the will of the majority to prevail, but a tyranny of the majority causes individual rights to be denied. The Bill of Rights protects the individual, be he either rich or poor, popular or despised.
Mr. President, of those rights, which did you feel the most strongly about, if you can say?
That's a very difficult question for me to answer, madam, because I feel very strongly about all 10 of our amendments, what you call here now the Bill of Rights. But if I had to choose, it would certainly be the first, which protected our freedom of speech, of religion, of the press, followed closely by the 6th and 7th, which deal with our personal freedoms literally, our right to a trial by jury.
I agree. And there was tremendous emotion when those two were introduced, or the right to a speedy and public trial in criminal cases, and the right to a trial by jury under common law. On those two form the very cornerstone on which this country was founded.
That's right. Well, then how does it strike you, gentlemen, to find out that today there are special interests in our society who are trying to abridge our trial by jury system?
What?
Yes, by instituting actions at the state level that would in effect negate this privilege.
No,
that's outrageous.
Totally.
Excuse me, gentlemen, please, explain if you would, madam, what you mean by this statement.
Certainly. There are certain segments in our society, most particularly business, including insurance, Mr. Hancock, the medical profession, manufacturers, and others who are attempting through the initiative process to place limits on such things as punitive damages, attorney's fees, caps on damages, favorable payment schedules for wrongdoers, and loser-pays-all systems, because they claim that the current court systems cost too much, or that it takes too long, or that lawyers themselves are the cause of the problem.
Outrageous! This is outrageous. I cannot believe what I hear. Liberty, freedom, and justice shall not be denied for selfish reasons.
Yes.
If this is true, madam, then our country is in serious jeopardy. After all, our American justice system is built on the firm foundation of the right to trial by a jury of one's peers.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It falls to attorneys to protect the Bill of Rights for all of us.
Yes. Historically, the right of the jury to dispense justice assures that justice remains firmly rooted in the hands of the people. This has most definitely prevented the system from being twisted by either political, legislative, bureaucratic, or economic special interests.
Yes, all questions of fact must be deferred to a jury. Placing these caps on damages and these other things that you talk of, these would, for the first time in the 200-year history of our Bill of Rights, take these powers away from the jury.
Yes, absolutely.
In fact, you would replace the will of the people, as expressed through the jury, with the will of those special interests powerful enough to influence the process.
Yes, when we wrote the articles contained in the Bill of Rights, each one was debated and argued over until we all agreed upon the language that would be clear for the ages and that would withstand the test of time.
So that no one, no king or legislative power or special interest, could in turn give meaning to our words that we did not intend be put there.
Yes, I cannot urge strongly enough that all who are within the sound of my voice must go forth and do battle with those forces that seek to rend asunder what we put together at such cost.
Who will go forth and fight this? Do you know, madam? What group? Are there any people out there who will fight as we fought?
Argue and persuade with reason and commitment as we did.
Yes, to defend and protect our constitutional and God-given rights under law. Tell me, madam, is there such commitment today? Here? Now?
I hope so, sir. I truly hope so, for all our sakes.